Are you someone who is looking to potentially purchase in the Middle Tennessee area, but you're wondering, should I wait to buy? Or should I just go ahead and make moves here in 2023? We're going to be talking about that in today's video because there's so much information, so much misinformation going on. And so that's what we're talking about in today's video. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin Martin and I am a local Nashville real estate agent and founder of the Caitlin Martin team, powered by 𝐋𝐈𝐊𝐄 Realtors, the Andrews Group. I specialize in working with savvy sellers who want to sell right and sell smart, as well as working with out-of-staters looking to relocate to the Middle Tennessee area. Now, if this is your first time stopping by my channel, thank you so much. Please feel free to click subscribe down below so that you are notified anytime I release new video content, which is every Tuesday and Friday at 5 p.m. Central Time. So in today's video, we are going to dive into should you wait to purchase, because this is a really hot topic. This is a conversation that I have been having with a lot of our potential buyers because, again, there's so much information out there. There's a lot of headlines out there. And sometimes people can get so paralyzed in the fear of what the media is putting out there that it stops them from making moves. But here's the thing, the media, they are never going to be real estate experts. They, at the end of the day, they don't really care about what you do. They're not looking out for you. I can guarantee you that. And so they're going to put out these fear-based media headlines because it continues to instill fear, which fear is a very, very powerful emotion, which can stop people from taking action or cause people to take action. And so, of course, they're going to be putting out these fear-based headlines. Like I quite literally read one earlier this week that talked about how, according to a poll, Americans view this as the worst housing market they've ever seen, which that is insane to me. And so here's the thing, real estate is going to be hyper local. And so what may be happening in one city is going to be different than what's happening in Nashville, but we have to be really, really careful because, again, there's going to always be that fear-based articles out there, but you have to actually talk to somebody who sees the ins and outs of the market, knows what is happening, that can help you make the most informed and educated decision for you and your family. So that's why we're going to be taking a look at a couple of things today as we talk about should you wait? Because really that bottom line to that answer becomes it depends. Because if we're talking about somebody who's a first-time home buyer, or we're talking about somebody that is going to be sitting in a lower price range, there's going to be one specific answer there versus somebody else who maybe has more of a financial position where they potentially could wait. But again, there's multiple factors that play into whether to just go ahead and move forward or to wait. So let's first dive into what do you need to know, especially if you're a first-time home buyer or you're somebody that's going to be in one of those lower housing budget situations. And again, there is nothing wrong with that. But when you are looking at housing budgets, you have to remember that you need to look at house prices as a pyramid. So of course, the top range budgets are going to be at the top of the pyramid because they're going to have the smallest buyer pool. And of course, as you come down, there's going to be a much larger buyer pool as you come down in budget because more people can afford it. So when you have more buyers, that's more competition. So those are things to keep in mind. Here's the thing. The Nashville market has been really hot over the past decade. We've been a really hot relocation town. Then in 2020, once we kind of came out of that 6 weeks of the market just completely stalling for COVID purposes, we were on an upward trajectory that sent us into this white hot market that we were in for about a year and a half, where prices went exceedingly over list price, where demand was so high and inventory was so low. Homes were getting 30, 40, 50 offers on them. Like, it was bananas what happened. But now, especially over the last year, we've watched ourselves really start to stabilize. But because of what happened, home values, especially during the hottest part of our market, were appreciating at 4% month over month. So home buyers, even though they had to sometimes go exceedingly over list price, they were very quickly catching up and exceeding that in home value because of the way homes were appreciating. But because of what we saw that happened in that 2 years of a white hot market, we now are seeing where home values overall have come up. And there's going to be a lot of stuff out there talking about, oh, the housing market's dipping, prices are declining, all of this, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But our home values are not going anywhere, and there is so much evidence to point to that here in the Nashville area. Again, things may be happening in other cities, but we have to look at what's happening here because we're talking about the Nashville market. So if you are a first-time home buyer, or if you are sitting in one of those housing budgets that's going to have a wider buyer pool, you have to realize that unless a lot of times, because again, this is the kind of conversations we've been having a lot lately, is if you are somebody that is wanting to get into the market, if you're wanting to buy that first home, if you're wanting to purchase in Nashville, but again, you don't have the world's largest budget, now is still a great time to get into the market. Yes, interest rates are higher than the historic lows that we saw during the white hot market. However, home values, especially in the Nashville area, are expected to only continue to appreciate. And so that means that what you could afford today, that house is going to be more expensive next year simply because of the appreciation and the way our market continues to move. And so a lot of times the way that that appreciation is going to move, it could put that home out of reach for next year. And this is something that we've had to talk about just a lot, because I want everybody who wants to be able to own a home, I want them to be able to get in and start that dream of home ownership, because I understand how real estate plays into the bigger picture, how real estate plays into wealth. You know, there's a chart that I'll put up here that just goes to show you, if you look, this compares what a renter's wealth is compared to a homeowner's wealth. And you can see there's a dramatic difference, because real estate absolutely plays into wealth. Because if you haven't had an opportunity, or if you don't know that much when it comes to the home buying experience, of course, once you purchase a home, you have the ability to ride up that appreciation. And then whether it's 3 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road, when you go to sell, you're going to have a great amount of equity in your home that you're then able to either roll into another home, or you're able to pull out of your home. And again, it's going to be really hard to match the equity that you would have in your home with just trying to save from the income you make from your job. So that's something to keep in mind. And so our interest rates are, yes, but we need to actually look at the bigger picture when it comes to interest rates, because when you look at them, it's really, really hard for us to compare them back to what they were when they were historically low, when they were in the threes. We cannot look at that and expect that to come back, because I recently attended a panel where we were talking about, where do we expect interest rates to go? Do we expect to see those kind of rates come back? And the overall consensus was, if you're really waiting for great low interest rates to come back, you're going to be waiting a very long time. And if you're waiting for that, how much more is the home going to appreciate until they come down? So that's something to keep in mind. Now, if you're a first-time home buyer, there are several great down payment assistance programs. There are also other programs that can help contribute to closing costs. So there are a lot of opportunities, but the one downside of Nashville is that in terms of a single family home, the affordability of a single family home, that starter home, is continuing to rise. And so because of that, it's going to start getting harder until Nashville's able to come up with more affordable housing solutions. It's going to be harder to get in the longer you wait. And so, can you always refinance if interest rates come down? Yes. But what if they go up? And here's the other thing. I want to put up this graphic because this also helps really put things in perspective when it comes to interest rates. So this is going to be the last 30 years of interest rates. And so as you can see, way back in the 80s, interest rates were like 16, 17%. So of course our 6s and 7s are not going to feel that bad. And so again, does it not feel good when you know that there used to be high 2s, low 3s? Yeah, it doesn't feel great, but it's going to be a lot better than where it is. And so that's always something to keep in mind, is don't let the interest rate stop you from getting into a home, because again, there's always ways to work around that. There can be rate buy down programs. There's other options. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, let's also talk about if you are somebody that has the financial capability to wait. Should you wait? Well, that's a really great thing to wonder, right? Because you can say, well, I have the ability to wait. I have the ability to rent. It's okay to rent until I want to buy. But there's a couple things to think about there as well. And we've already kind of talked about it for our other scenario, right? Home values are continuing to appreciate. They're not going anywhere. And when we look at Nashville overall, because again, it's really easy to zone in on like a singular moment in time and be like, well, interest rates are high, so I won't do it. It's really easy to just focus in on that one. And truly, I will tell you, my husband and I actually had this conversation ourselves last fall, because he started hearing the headlines, even though I'm in real estate, even though his wife is in real estate. He was hearing the headlines and he was hearing how interest rates were going up. And this was when we were considering purchasing our second property, our Gatlinburg property. And he was like, I don't know, maybe we should wait. It's maybe not the right time. Then lo and behold, the property came available. We purchased it. And so were interest rates higher? Yeah, that wasn't fun to deal with by any means, but it got us in to the market for our investment property. And then, you know, if you followed that story, you do know we did a massive renovation on it, and it is just now launching on Airbnb, which is great. But it was something that he and I had to have a discussion about, because I also, from all of the different information sources that I pull and looking at where's our market headed, what do we need to know, that's always something that we came back to, is it's like, yeah, you know, interest rates don't feel good, but I had to re-educate and discuss exactly what we need to know about those interest rates and what to know, how this Gatlinburg house is playing into our overall bigger strategy for us and our family. So truly, I've had that discussion in my own household, but here's the thing. We got to look at where Nashville's going, because that is also going to paint a picture. Instead of just zeroing in on what is that interest rate, we got to look at a bigger picture and say, where are we headed? Because if you know where we're headed, that can help you make a more informed choice about what is happening right now. So we got to take a look at, I keep saying Nashville's going to continue to appreciate, but how do I know that? But Nashville's continuing to make national headlines, gain national accolades because of where Nashville is headed. So we're going to take a look at some of those accolades just to give you a good idea of just how Nashville is fitting into the national picture and just kind of the success that Nashville has been having. So we first have to talk about people moving here, because we saw a massive influx come in 2020 through 2022. But where's it headed? Why are people moving here? Well, when you look at why people are moving here, they're moving here for our creative culture, which is something that I've talked about in other videos. Nashville really, I think because of our music industry, there's such a creative spirit just from the creativeness that happens within the music and entertainment industry. It bleeds over into the rest of the city. So there's this great creative entrepreneurial spirit that is here in Nashville. And that is one of the driving factors of why people are moving here. Also, we have smart politics. That's another reason why people are making the moves from where they're coming from to where they're moving to here in the Nashville area. And then we have sound economic fundamentals. So there's a lot that's happening. Nashville has really worked hard over the last 20 plus years to really make a name for ourselves on the national scale. So these are reasons why people are coming here, in addition to a couple others that we're going to talk about. In fact, another major reason why people are moving here is the fact that we are one of the lowest taxed states in the entire US. We actually come in at number 3 in terms of lowest tax states. Only Alaska and Wyoming beat us out. So of course the fact that we're lowest taxes, or one of the lowest taxes in the country, that is reasons why businesses are relocating their headquarters. That's why people are moving here, because their money goes further here. And with businesses moving here, that means they're bringing jobs here. And in fact, our job economy is absolutely booming. And of course, a job economy plays into how well our real estate economy is going. In fact, when you look at our job economy, so all of the jobs, we lost 6 figures in terms of jobs during COVID. So not only has Nashville recovered all of those jobs that were lost, but we're actually up 9.1% in jobs post recovering from the pandemic. So we actually have added another 96,100 jobs in addition to the jobs that were brought back post-COVID. So Nashville is booming in our job market. And again, a lot of that has to do with these headquarters relocating here. And then when you look at our job economy on top of it, we actually have an unemployment rate of 2.5% as of March 2023. So our job economy is very healthy here. And again, when people have jobs, they're able to afford homes, which has a direct impact on our Nashville real estate. Talking about more people moving here, I've mentioned this before in other videos, but another 200,000 people are expected to move to the Middle Tennessee area by 2025, which is going to be here before you know it. And then another 1 million people are expected to move to the state of Tennessee by 2040. That's from a study at the University of Tennessee. And of that 1 million people, 57% of those 1 million is going to land here in the Middle Tennessee area. So why does that matter? Because those people are going to need housing. Now, will all of them own? No, but a chunk of them will. And here's where the other piece of this puzzle comes into play. So when you have all those people, you do need a place to put them, right? Which means we need more inventory. And so one thing that we really have to look at in terms of determining our market and where our market is our inventory levels. And so we've looked at these in past market update videos, and there'll be another one coming out here shortly talking about what happened in May. But our inventory, it is better than when we were at the peak of our white hot market, but we are still down, because a lot of times what we're trying to do now is compare our market right now to what happened back in 2019 when we were a more stabilized market. And so we are still down in inventory. We're still tight on inventory compared to what we were in 2019. We're just slightly better than what we were at the peak of our wild market. So we still are having a housing shortage in terms of inventory when people are looking to purchase. And so of course you have to look at the laws of supply and demand. We still have a strong demand. We're still dealing with a shorter supply of inventory. So of course that is going to dictate things that are happening in our market. One other thing that I really like to point out to people, because I just had somebody ask me about this recently, was, well, when do you think I'm going to get a better deal on a house? Like, when do you think prices are going to drop? That's also something that we have to talk about, because if you're somebody that's trying to decide, should I wait? We also have to take into account the pricing of a home. So here's the thing, back in the white hot market, you did have to go exceedingly over most of the time in order to win out. Now, because of the way that our market has shifted, we still, buyers for the most part, still have more negotiating power than before. So while we're still seeing, according to our MLS, we're still seeing homes sell at about 98% of list price. So we are not by any means seeing these dramatic price drops when it comes to homes. We are still seeing homes sell either at list price or very close to list price. And so as we kind of go back to what we were talking about a little bit earlier when we were talking about appreciation, that yes, our market is still moving in an upward trajectory in terms of home appreciation. So what you're gonna pay a year from now, if you wanna continue to wait, you're gonna pay more for the same kind of house next year than you will this year. Another thing to consider is there are experts in the mortgage world, and I've talked with several of our lending partners just continuing to try to get updates on what they think is coming, what they think interest rates are going to do. So they do believe that interest rates may tick down into the high 5s. If that happens, we are going to watch what we saw happen before happen again, in terms of people are going to wait for those rates to come down. Just because if you're somebody that's considering waiting, imagine you're not the only one with that train of thought saying, oh, I want a lower rate, I'm going to wait. Then we're going to watch all these people who are sitting on the sidelines as rates tick down jump into the market. We're still going to be dealing with lower supply, but yet we're going to have higher demand because people are going to be trying to lock in that lower interest rate. And so you're going to be dealing with more buyer competition, which could bring multiple offers back to the table. We are still seeing some multiple offers if the home is priced right and it shows well. It is still going quickly with multiples. It may be multiples of 2, 3, 4 offers, not 20, 30, 40, 50 that we had seen, but there is still that opportunity. But if a home is a little overpriced, if maybe it's not showing to the very best of its ability, this absolutely gives buyers still negotiating power. So right now, while others are sitting on the sidelines, there is an opportunity to still score a deal. I've seen this even with new construction. Now, new construction could barely keep up with demand when our market was white hot. It was absolute chaos, it felt like, when it came to new construction. Back when our market was white hot, because it was like a lottery system or first come, first serve, and you had to click on an email at exactly like 9 a.m. It was wild. But now we're watching builders offer more incentives. So again, if you're somebody that's thinking about new construction, it's the prices on new construction are not going to just go tumble, but you do have more of an ability to get a little bit maybe off list or more builder incentives that you couldn't necessarily get before. And so that there is this really interesting window of opportunity for people that want to take advantage of it. And people may be saying, well, Caitlin, like, where's the market going? What else do we need to know? So when we take a look at where Nashville's headed, we've already talked about the number of people moving here. We've talked about us having one of the lowest tax states. So we've talked about a lot of opportunity, but Nashville continues to get recognition on a national scale. In fact, Food and Wine magazine in April of 2023, they came out with their list of restaurants with best ambiance, and Nashville landed at number 1, number 4, and number 10. So number 1 was Yola in Nashville, number 4 was Skull's Rainbow Room, and then number 10 was the Catbird Seat. So all of the growth and the restaurants that we've seen come to town, Nashville is getting national recognition for even our food scene. Not only that, but Nashville actually landed on a list of the top 5 largest U.S. real estate transactions last year. The new 5th and Broad building was actually purchased for $787 million last year. People are putting their money, they're placing their bets on Nashville. Not only that, but here's a wild statistic for you. In downtown Nashville currently, there are 45 cranes in the air. That is how much development is coming to downtown Nashville, but you have to compare that to the city of Los Angeles, which is much bigger than ours, and Los Angeles has 51. So Nashville is continuing to grow. We are continuing to just really make waves on a national scale, which is great, but because of that, again, that means that more people are coming. That is going to help continue to fuel our real estate market. So at the end of the day, should you wait? The answer really comes down to if you are sitting more in one of those lower budgets for a home, first-time home buyers, you're not going to find a better time. In fact, the housing market may price you out unless you are changing jobs or getting a massive raise that would make a difference and be able to bump up your budget. So if you have the ability, I highly encourage you to talk to a lender, see what kind of options they can offer you to allow you to still make a purchase, still make it affordable for you to where you can afford that monthly payment. But get in, don't wait. Get in, ride that appreciation up, build that wealth. And if you are somebody else who maybe has the ability to wait financially, but you're wondering if you should, there's still a great opportunity for buyers. You know, one thing that I do want to mention is with our inventory that we have to keep in mind, because we're dealing with tighter inventory still, is the fact that why are we dealing with it? Well, it's because a lot of people have locked in those lower rates in terms of interest rate, and they don't necessarily want to have to trade up. So that is keeping some people from purchasing because they don't want to lose that lower rate. So that's something to keep in mind. So while we're still going to most likely deal with a bit of inventory shortage, if you can find the right house and you have the means to, again, what that house would afford you today versus what that house is going to be a year from now, it will most likely cost you money to wait. But in some respects, that's okay in terms of if your situation is one that dictates that. But otherwise, there is this great window of opportunity to be able to purchase, get into the Nashville real estate market, and then be able to ride it up as Nashville continues to grow and expand over the next several years. So, myself, my team, my lending partners, my referral partners, all of us say we are very blessed to live and work in such a healthy market. We're so fortunate. Nashville is my favorite place, and everyone that asks me, they're like, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would you live? And my answer is always Nashville, because I absolutely love it here. I've got no plans to go anywhere, and I'm just so thankful that we do have such a great real estate market, and this is a great place to live. And so if you are somebody that's thinking about making a move to the Middle Tennessee area, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I would love to help you make that transition. All of my contact information is below. If you're ready to start that conversation about a potential move, you can click the link down below where you can go ahead and book a discovery call with me to see if we're a fit and to talk more about your potential move. If you're not ready for that just yet, that's okay too. Feel free to click below and download my free Nashville relocation guide. All you gotta do is click and download. And again, if you ever need anything, my name is Caitlin Martin. I'll see you next time.